This is my mountain, Mongo Pohatu. This is my river, Awa, Ohine Mataroa. This is my marae, Te Rewa Rewa. This is Ruatoki, where I was raised. This is Ruatoki, set in the valley at the mouth of the Uruwera, a native forest in the middle of the North Island of New Zealand, twice the size of Auckland, 25 times bigger than New York. It is the ancestral home of my people, Ngāi Tūhoi. It is also known as Ngā Tamariki o Te Kohu, or the children of the mist. As a boy, I was raised by my grandparents and spoke only Māori, like almost everyone in Ruatoki. In our language, we have this word that is very important. You might have heard it before. This word is mana. Everyone in this room has some form of mana. Your mana comes from knowing who you are, where you come from, and your connection to your land, whenua. Mana grounds you. Mana makes you solid. Mana roots you to your past, present, and future. We don't always have to agree. Mana can be tested, even challenged, but with respect and an understanding of one another's mana. We are all equal. We are all the same, on the same level. Kanohi ki te kanohi tangata ki te tangata. Eye to eye. So school was a confusing time for me. The rules and the regulation didn't make sense at all, you know. When I was 8, the whole school was called to assembly. And the headmaster got up and said, I will not allow you to speak Māori on my school grounds. So if you continue to speak Māori, you will remain after school and be punished. So I turned to my mates, the hell is on about? So we thought that was dumb, stupid. So we wanted to test his mana. So we disobeyed him and spoke Māori to see what would happen. We were given the choice of picking up horse manure or write, I will not speak Māori 100 times on the blackboard. I must have wrote it 1,000 times. 1,000 times. It started to smell like a horse. I did learn English. But you know when you learn a new language and pick up the swear word first? That was us. Dickhead, bugger, shistera. At home, I learned about my tipuna, ancestor, mountain, the river. Why these things are important to the mana of Tūhoi. But at school, I learned, hey, diddle, diddle, the cat and the fiddle. The cow jumped over the moon. So te reo Māori come from the sound of the birds. I speak the same language as the tui, as the kiwi bird. Could the headmaster stop the bird from speaking the language too? Don't be afraid to challenge someone trying to assert authority over you. Just because someone has authority does not mean that they have more money. If someone is asserting their authority, they have to let go of respect and understanding to get their way. And you are no longer equal. 16, going to Christchurch. It was another kind of learning, education, to discover what's going on around the world. People questioning authority about all kinds of things. Women's liberation, anti-apartheid, the Vietnam War, socialism and the rights of the working class. I started to hear the story from other culture that sound like old two-horse stories. Stories about stolen land, community displaced. Story about police brutality. Story about military rule. I started to meet new people, Maori, Pacific people, Pākehā, standing against these things, and it inspired me. These were not just Maori issues, they were global issues with global movements. And in this time, I learned the art of protest and political activism. Occupy that space so they can't avoid you. Draw attention to the issue that make them uncomfortable. Make them face you and make your voice be heard. If mana can be tested, then you may have to prepare to defend it. No one can tell you that you are not important and that your experience does not matter. And if they do, I challenge them to say it to your face, where they can see your eyes and feel your breath. Kanohi ki te kanohi, tangata ki te tangata, eye to eye. You have to keep the pressure on. Keep reminding people of the things that they would rather forget. We had to constantly remind the crowd that we were here and we're not going away. That we needed to have a proper, cordial, a conversation about the stuff that had gone down with our tipuna, our ancestors. I remember when the Crown went around the country to talk about the physical envelope. This was the government offering a limit on the settlement of historical grievances before they had even heard any claims. I decided to make a counter-offer for the return of our land. My nephew's horse blanket. But when I arrived, this is what I saw. The Crown sitting on the stage looking down at us. We were not eye to eye. We were not on the same level. So what this short-ass two-way do when we being talked down to? He borrowed a ladder. Hey, bro, can I borrow your ladder? This is the Honourable Doug Graham listening to my submission. This is Doug Graham taking my blankets. 4 years later, Here is the horse blanket hanging in the office of the treaty settlement in Wellington. They had taken my blanket, framed it, and hung it on the wall as a piece of artwork. They had my blanket, but they still had the land. So 4 years later, what does a Tūhoe do when someone steals his horse blanket? He sent an invoice. An expensive one, too. So it wasn't really because I wanted the money, not at all. I wanted to remind the Crown that until this was resolved, they still had the debt to Tūhoe, and we are not going away. Just like this. Or this. This is the Māori language petition, Hannah Jackson, 1972. The Māori land march, Dame Whina Cooper, 1975. Bastion Point, Takaparapa, Ngāti Pātua, 1978. The Springbok Tour, 1981. The Anti-Nuclear Campaign, 1985. These are some of the political social movements that have shaped the identity of this country. Not just because they had political opposition at that time, but because after that eye-to-eye contact was the realization that the mana of the people is equal to that of any authority. So after 170 years of struggle, of fighting for the mana o Tūhoe, we finally got respect and understanding from the Crown. We got this.
The Crown unreservedly apologises for not having honoured its obligations to Tūhoe under Te Tiriti o Waitangi, and profoundly regrets its failure to appropriately acknowledge and respect Te mana motahaki o Tūhoe for many generations.
History has woven us together. We are the basket, the kete that holds the future. We must acknowledge each other in this space, right here in this space. Kanohi ki te kanoi, tanata ki te tanata, eye to eye. Ko maunga pō hatu te mauda, ko hine matarua te awa. Ko te mā hure hure, te rewa rewa te marae. Ko Tūhoe te iwi, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou.